Is it just a coincidence that a magnitude 4.8 earthquake hit our largest metropolitan area just days before April 8th of the total solar eclipse? Michael Snyder reports, "Oh, is this a question that I'm not supposed to be asking? Following the earthquake that shook up the Big Apple on Friday, a lot of people were suggesting that it seemed really weird that a magnitude 4.8, which is, by the way, April 8, 4.8, April 8, and a magnitude 4.8 earthquake would hit our largest metropolitan areas just days before the Great American Eclipse of 2024 passed over the United States on 4.8. It isn't as if New York regularly experiences these sorts of quakes. In fact, it's been reported that this was the largest earthquake in New York City since 1884. So the truth is that this was a very rare occurrence, and we're just supposed to believe that this extremely rare earthquake that just happened to be precisely magnitude 4.8 has absolutely nothing to do with the Great American Eclipse on April 8. Okay, over the weekend, so many people wrote me about this, so I decided to write an article about it. Michael Snyder says, "It turns out that the war between Israel and Hamas has been discussed at the UN at the exact moment that the earthquake hit. Can you imagine? At the United Nations in Midtown Manhattan, a Security Council address on the Israel-Gaza conflict was interrupted as cameras begun shuttering. This is certainly very interesting. And we have also learned that the earthquake struck very close to the location in New Jersey known as Lebanon. A rare earthquake rocked the New York City area Friday morning, swaying buildings and sending terrified residents into the streets. The strongest trembler to strike near the Big Apple in 140 years. City officials quickly warned people of danger of potential aftershocks, which began in the early afternoon in New Jersey, a report said. The preliminary 4.8 magnitude earthquake struck near Lebanon, New Jersey around 10:32 a.m. and was potentially felt by more than 42 million people, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. When the war in the Middle East goes to the next level, southern Lebanon would be one of the key battlefields. It's also being reported that the epicenter of the earthquake was a place called White House Station. The epicenter of the earthquake was in White House Station, Hunterdon County at 10:23 a.m. That is certainly weird. White House Station. And as I pointed out in my core supporters on Friday, Donald Trump actually owns a golf course that is approximately 7 miles away from the epicenter of the earthquake. Donald Trump's New Jersey golf course was rocked by a 2.0 magnitude aftershock from the 4.8 earthquake that shook the Northeast on Friday morning, with residents warning tremors could last a week. The U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, reported a quake with a preliminary magnitude of 4.8 centered near Lebanon, New Jersey, about 50 miles west of New York City at 10:23 a.m. and was felt by more than 42 million people. The Trump National Golf Club Bedminster is less than 7 miles from the epicenter of the quake and was rocked by an aftershock hours later. It was unclear if the club sustained any damage. Interestingly, this quake occurred exactly 7 months before the presidential election happens on November 5th. So the epicenter of the earthquake was in White House Station, and a man from New York that owns a golf course that is 7 miles away from the epicenter will be one of the candidates for president on Election Day, exactly 7 months after the earthquake. And all of this happened the day after the Statue of Liberty was struck by lightning. Proud Army Brat on X tweeted, "Statue of Liberty gets zapped with lightning yesterday, has an earthquake today, and will experience a total eclipse on Monday. New York better get it together," she said. Now, yes, there is a possibility that this is just one really long string of incredible, bizarre coincidences. And a lot of people are trying to make that argument, but I'm not buying it. I think that God has been trying to get our attention, but most of the population is not listening. On Monday, the eclipse that many of us have been waiting to see for more than 7 years will finally be here. Of course, it's not just people like us that have been anticipating this eclipse. NASA will be firing 3 rockets towards the eclipse today, April 8. For some reason, CERN selected that specific day to fire up the Large Hadron Collider, and a state of emergency has been declared in many areas that will be along the path of totality. And as Terry Smith has pointed out, the U.S. Space Command logo actually bears a striking resemblance to the giant X over America that will be completed by the Great American Eclipse of 2024 today, April 8. As I discussed earlier, having a giant X painted in the skies over America that intersects directly in the middle of the New Madrid fault zone is probably not a good sign. Right now, speculation about this eclipse has reached a fever pitch on social media, and some people are even suggesting that what is happening in the heavens is making them feel ill. One person said, "Been feeling physically sick for a few days now, and I feel like it's because of the Mercury retrograde and the upcoming solar eclipse. Does anyone feel sick? Does anyone else feel sick these days?" While another said, "Any of you also experiencing headaches because of the solar eclipse?" One user said they had been feeling wiped out, writing, "A lot of people talking about the total solar eclipse and full moon, but anyone else actually feeling it? Is anyone else actually feeling it? This just had me wiped out, feeling weird." Another claimed it had thrown her menstrual cycle off and the period was now synced with the with the eclipse. I mean, you hear all kinds of funny things, don't you? Other social media users revealed they've been battling insomnia too. One user said, "Anyone else suffering from weird insomnia, no appetite, and other weird things that can't be explained? Someone told me the eclipse might have something to do with it, but I don't get how." Now, personally, Michael Snyder says, I think that what a lot of those people are experiencing is just being caused by anxiety. As for what may or may not happen on April 8, I'm not expecting any sort of a major disaster or emergency to happen on that specific day, but I could be wrong. We shall see. It's entirely possible that something could happen, but the main point of April 8 is going to be what is going on in the heavens. I believe that this eclipse is a sign, a warning, and a threshold. This is what is going to happen during these days. It's what's going to happen during these days, weeks, and months after April 8 that people should be concerned about. Of course, most of the population does not believe that April 8 is any sort of warning at all. Most of them think that the eclipse does not have any sort of special significance, and once it has passed, most of them will just keep doing what they always do. And this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Michael's new book entitled Chaos, available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon, and you can check out his new Substack newsletter right here. About the author, Michael Snyder, extremely controversial new book, Chaos, available in paperback and Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media accounts. It's definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Kindly support my Patreon account The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.